he gets on the second team in practice. And we lose.
You lying. You ain't losing 50 years old.
Mike's too low.
How old was Mike?
Listen. This was in 2010.
He was always around and hands-on, and he never bit his tongue. If you want getting the job done and you wasn't playing right, he was gonna let you know. But that's MJ. That's the GOAT.
Michael Jordan's tenure with the Charlotte Hornets as majority owner officially ended after 13 years. After being part owner back in 2006, brought his share in 2010 for $275 million, sold for $3 billion. Going 423 and 600 overall, 13 disappointing years, the 26th best record, 0 playoff series wins, not even a first round appearance last 7 seasons. This video is simply not about Jordan's shortcomings and disappointments with the franchise, but what owner Michael Jordan was like behind the scenes and how the Charlotte players viewed him, stories they shared about his incredible presence as Michael Jordan. Steven Jackson said MJ tells him to take his shoes off, gets on the second team and win.
Talking about all his accolades, take my shoes off, because he had gave me his, he wasn't just talking to me, he was talking because everybody had his shoes off, but he had gave me a deal and all that.
Yeah.
This shit kind of directed to me and Gerald Wallace, because we the leaders of the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he going off.
Mike told you take his fucking shoes off.
Damn near, you know what I'm saying?
Mike suited up.
Dog, whatever he had on, he came out there, got on, pushed against the guard, whoever Gerald Wallace was guarding, the 3 guard, kicked him out and got in that spot and played with the second team. Our second team wasn't scrubs now. Oh, he scored a couple points, and to the point where he talked so much shit afterwards, he grabbed the ball and would dunk one on the way out.
Former Hornets Troy Daniels, who suited up with the team the 2015 and 16 season, shared MJ being frustrated with the team, then goes on and talks about MJ going one-on-one with the guys.
Lost like 4 out of 5 games or something like that. We weren't playing to our potential at all, like literally, really bad. And Mike came in and we sat down and we get ready for film, and then he came in. I'm like, oh Lord, like we really in trouble now. Like I thought we was gonna just hear it from Cliff, and Michael comes in and has, a basic conversation with us. And the conversation was like, you MFers ain't earning your salary. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be able to go out there and perform every night, night in, night out. I don't wanna hear no excuses. Like that type of deal. And to be honest with you, it woke us up.
If Daniels firsthand saw MJ play against the other active players, he was 51 to 53 years old, around Troy's tenure with the team.
But I seen him play one-on-one a couple times after practice with a couple guys. Obviously he might still think he got it, but Father Time is undefeated, so the competitiveness is still there, the mental and the mindset is still there, but your body, it might tell you to do one thing. I want to say it was Kimber. It was Kimber or somebody else, but to be honest with you, like that was 2011, and it was kind of like some nonchalant type thing. It wasn't like shirts off, let's get it, we sweating hard type thing. But Father Time is undefeated, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Al Jefferson back in 2013, when asked about MJ, caught by TMZ.
What's it like playing for Michael Jordan?
Playing for the best player that ever played the game, man. It's an honor.
Where would you ever play one-on-one?
Nah, he might beat me in embarrassment, man.
Big Al in 2014 described what Jordan was like behind the scenes.
What are some of the new memories now that Jordan coming to practices, or what some things that stuck with you since you grew up in Charlotte?
One of the things that really stuck with me, that he's just really kind of come in and show his face. We probably seen him 6 times. He really just letting the coaching staff do their job. He came in last home game, just told us how proud he was of it. But we still have a long way to go. And to me, that was a great honor to be the best player to try to respect and acknowledge the things that we have done so far this year. But also let us know we still got a long way to go. We just keep fighting.
22 and 11 Big Al playing one-on-one with Jordan.
No, have you guys played any one-on-one games?
No, I would never play one-on-one. Should have hurt my feelings. I know he still got some tricks up his sleeve.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, the number 2 pick as a rookie, admits to getting beat by his 50-year-old boss.
Playing Michael Jordan one-on-one, and he actually beat you. What was that experience like playing? A lot of people say is the greatest player of all time. What was that experience like playing him one-on-one?
It was a dream come true. Made a dream come true. That's really about it. That's my boss. So, but that's really it.
If you have the opportunity to play him one-on-one again, anything that you would do differently on defense to try to beat your boss?
Nah, I win.
Bismack Biyombo drafted 2011, played with Charlotte twice until 2015, then from 2019 to 21 on spending time with MJ and how exciting the upcoming rookie was.
Getting to spend more time with MJ and learning from MJ was like, oh my God. The day before the draft, I worked out for the Hornets, or the Bobcats at the time, and Michael Jordan came to the workouts. So when I was leaving to go back to New York for the draft, I was telling my agent, this would be crazy if I have to play for this guy, you know? It would be crazy. You know how much I can learn? When I got drafted by him, I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
This Mac on Jordan being age 52, Biombo also went to the Fair Games podcast hosted by Christine Leahy and mentioned Mike is Mike, man. I seen him play one-on-one with players after the games and one by one was taking them out. So that was probably, I think, 7-8 years ago. He would come into practice and just play one-on-one with players and just kill them 100%. I didn't think he could move like that. Here's former Bobcat Matt Carroll on Jordan, who spent 8 seasons in Charlotte up until 2013.
My first interaction with him was, obviously when I got to Charlotte, and when he was the president of basketball operations here in Charlotte years ago, my early days here. And at that time, he still was playing. I mean, I go back to that time and he'd come on the court. He actually practiced with us. And it wasn't just like he was shooting around like post-practice, which he did sometimes. And he plays in horse, a little free throw competition, whatever that might be, one-on-one. It's interesting. You got the greatest player of all time. And it's not that he's just their eyes making decisions on the team and the roster and giving input, but, he'd come on the court, he'd lace them up. He's still great. He's still the GOAT. And, he's competing. He's pushing the players. He's coaching at the same time. But you're still just in awe, like, man, this is Michael Jordan. I'm guarding Michael Jordan in practice right now. And, he could still play with us, obviously, and still wasn't good enough shape. But he'd get after it, man. I mean, you want to talk about a competitor. Even and I think about that now, just jumping into like an NBA practice, like that's hard to do. Like, I don't want to do that right now. Not when I'm when I'm not in NBA shape. I don't want to get in there and just start practicing because those guys are in such incredible shape. But he's just so competitive innately that he would do it. He would push the urgency, the intensity would go through the roof when he was there. And then obviously if he was competing with us, went to a whole nother level.
And Rahul Nahara shares the classic story of MJ annihilating Steven Jackson.
We're practicing and we're going through a rough patch, Steven Jackson, and we had a pretty good team that year. Steven Jackson, Boris Dia, and Gerald Wallace were the veterans, along with myself, but I'm towards the end of my career, so I wasn't playing as much. Practicing to help these guys get better, and Michael decided to jump in. And then not only that, he says, Charles Oakley, come on my team. So they jump on the same team with Gerald with Gerald Henderson and somebody else. I don't remember the other player. Of course, Steven Jackson, being Steven Jackson, started talking trash. And at first, as the owner, you have to be careful as the owner. You don't want to go hard. And Michael got furious and started trash talking to Steven Jackson. And not only that, he started killing him. It was only at half court. This is a 50, I think it was 50 or 51, killing, all of us during a scrimmage. And talking to Steven Jackson, telling him, how's the leather tasting in your mouth every time he made a shot on his face. I mean, it was incredible, his competitiveness at that age, to the point that he became a one-on-one. So I was like, okay, I'd take Charles Oakley, bigger guy, tough guy. Charles and I were just kind of just watching in the weak side. These two guys go one-on-one, and of course, it did not end up well for Steven Jackson. Michael won the scrimmage. After that, we called it a day, and we just went home. I think that it was good for the team, because after that, we kind of snapped out of the losing streak that we had, and we started, winning games. But it was one of those experiences that I never thought I was going to go through. And Michael was one of those guys that liked to joke around all the time.
Gerald Henderson on Jordan being the owner back in 2012.
He has a unique, viewpoint on things. He watches every game, and he's gotten familiar with everybody who plays. So, he's always got something helpful to say, and it's great to have him out here.
Henderson then described Jordan watching the team closely.
Focusing on footwork and our jump shots. He's just trying to be helpful. If anybody knows him, he's attentive. He watches every game, he watches every practice. He's the best ever to play. So, he's got that competitive nature, and he always feels like he can help you.
December 2012, a young Bismack Biyombo reacts to when Jordan goes out there and shows the team some moves.
He can still play the game, honestly. The way I see him, I think he can still play the game, and if you want to. But just 50 years old, man, going out after 25 years old, and playing as hard as he was playing. So he's pretty good.
2007, Jason Richardson on being surrounded by MJ.
Greatest player that plays this game, and he can help us out. There's a lot of things that he knows about the game that can help us out. We still got a young team that needs some understanding, and wherever he goes show us and teach us how to do it. We're going to take advantage of it.
I mean, that's not the first time I played against him. The first time I was excited, a little nervous, but the second time it's just he's just one of the guys now. So he's one of us. He's a Bobcats owner, so he's part of the team that we have here. So it's just a lot of fun.
Head coach Sam Vincent wanting Jordan on his team.
If I could have Michael sign for the year, I shouldn't even say that. He can do that all day.
Jay Rich on loving to have MJ.
We love to have him once or twice a month. His schedule can't do that, but it'd be great to get around, just come around. Guys like to see him. We sit playing one-on-one with each other. That's just part of just having fun. He's part of the organization.
Sam Vincent once teammates with Jordan with the Bulls on the GOAT's presence.
His presence is electrifying. And, he's at the point where if he were going to play 8 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't think there's any chance in the world I could talk him into that. But it's a wonderful thought.
We're talking about a 44-year-old, 5 years after his retirement, his moves much sharper than all the Bobcat players, literally a master showing the team how it's done. Sam Vincent 2007 said about Jordan signing,
"There's no question in my mind he can come in right now and be effective in the NBA."
Jeremy Lin back in 2016 mentioned MJ giving his team a talk leading to a dominant win.
Prepare for a game like this playing Atlanta, very good team, very good road team. I think for us it started with MJ just coming down, or Jordan, however I need to address him, coming down and talking to us before practice. He just kind of told us that we look disconnected on the court and we need to bring a different energy and we need to really root for each other. It felt like we were all trying to win and put it on our own shoulders, but I felt like tonight it started with the mindset, coming out there feeling like we're gonna get stops, we're gonna do it together, and it showed.
Lin shares an IG post back on May 14, 2020, during the time of the Last Dance documentary. All of this about MJ being the GOAT inspired this memory lane post. When I signed with the Hornets, I was imagining MJ destroying everyone in mid-post one-on-one after every practice, except me, obviously LOL. He wasn't around much in the beginning, but I vividly remember 2 MJ moments of that season. 1, he was courtside at one of our games and was locked in, like locked in. He was on the ref non-stop. Yo, you were a bum ref when I was playing and you still a bum ref now. You gotta swallow your whistle all night. The unnamed ref looked, saw it was MJ, and never dared look back at our direction. I don't remember anything else that happened that game, haha. 2, later in the season, we dropped 4 straight L's. MJ showed up at the next practice. I swear to you, I don't remember any of the stories he told about his time with the Bulls or anything else he said, only his closing statement. Figure it out and don't make me fly back up from Florida. LOL. People always say, are you who you are? And MJ is to the core the ultimate competitor. Playing for him was an honor. Hashtag memory lane. Hashtag Jordan shrug.
I think anybody who plays for MJ is already motivated. What for me was the fact that everybody around the organization always told me that he was the one who really wanted to trade up for me in the draft. Like he made that decision by himself, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to let him down. That's what it was for me. So yeah, I just grinded.
What a crazy thing to hear coming into the NBA, and MJ's like, I want that guy.
Yep, that was unbelievable to be honest. So for me, I'm like, I'm not letting him down. I would not let him down. I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna continue to get better, and he allowed me to, he allowed me to grow. That was the biggest thing.
To this day, it's still like
it's still super surreal for me. Like every time I see him, I'm like, wow, like, and I've been around him for 8 years now. I've been around him for, and every time it's just I can't even believe it. Like he's just there, and he's so regular. He acts just like
talks so much trash.
He talks so much
so
trash.
much
Oh my
trash.
goodness.
People just
Second to none, man. But he's the best. He's the best. He loves being around us. He loves to help us, give us advice. Not just me, everyone.
The most successful player under Jordan's tenure on his first interaction with the owner.
Yeah, I remember he was just sitting on the side. I remember I was nervous, but like I gotta try my best to impress him. I think I did. But yeah, it was a really fun workout. All I remember is he was talking trash, which he usually does a lot. So he was talking trash on the sideline, but it was fun.
Walker, on Jordan's personality, playfully mocking Kemba's inability in a certain workout.
They put 2 balls on the floor and they were like trying to have us palm the basketballs. And as I'm going up, he's like, "Man, get out of there! You can't palm the ball like that." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't even try." I'm just like, "Yeah, you're right. I can't palm it." But you know, just stuff like that. He's a good dude. He's the best, man. Really super down to earth. So, you know, really good guy to be around.
Marvin Williams finished his career with the Bucks, quoted when The Last Dance released, "He is very different as an owner than a player. He will tell you that himself. Much more laid back than he was as a player." Cody Zeller shares why he's obligated to say MJ's the GOAT and the competitive edge Jordan still had.
I'm kind of obligated. MJ signs my check, so I'm kind of obligated to say that he is the greatest of all time. But I think the documentary's been really cool. You know, a couple times I've seen him walk through the. He's around every once in a while. We've been in Charlotte for like a week or 2 at a time, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So it's cool to have him around. He walked through the training room, and I've seen him a couple times. Like the guy we sitting out with a sprained ankle, and he'll walk through and be like, "Man, I had 53 and watched it on a sprained ankle." But he's still super competitive, and like what you see in the documentary is exactly the same. He's got all the one-liners. He's always, you know, egging on guys. So it's cool to have him around. It's like I said, it's just to get a few minutes with him is always special. Whether it's, you know, talking to X and O's or just hearing him tell stories. He's a great storyteller, as you can tell from the documentary. So yeah, it's really cool.
Zeller still being in awe, seeing not just MJ but Michael Jordan every time in the arena.
I've been around enough guys now. Like I played LeBron 20 times in my career. You know, it's still cool to play against him, but I don't think I've ever gotten over like the fact that it's Michael Jordan. And everyone knows when he's in the building, and it's not just like, oh, that's just MJ. You know, that's just another guy. And I've never gotten over that. So yeah, like you said, he's always kind of ripping guys. So but I mean, we try to give it right back to him. He loves getting back into the trash talk. So the guys try to give it back to him a little bit.
Zeller also wrote on the Players Tribune, Charlotte's PR guy told him 3 people talked to him on the phone after shaking David Stern's hands. First, Rod Huggins, team president of basketball operations, then Rich Cho, the GM, then lastly, Michael Jordan. Of course, the 21-year-old nervous, wasn't fully prepared on how to respond, speaks with Higgins, doesn't remember much, anticipated for number 23, then Rich supposedly next in line, trying to imagine what he say to MJ, how much he admires his business skills. Then all of a sudden, the caller says, "Alright, I'm going to pass the phone on to Rich." A shocked Zeller froze, scrambled to say, "Thank you, Mr. Jordan." Or maybe Cody just said okay, rambled on for a minute to the best player ever and didn't even know it was him, thinking about what to say before realizing MJ was actually talking to him. Zeller posted an IG story on all the Jordans he has. "I think I have a shoe problem, or I just need another bedroom. Hashtag my boss is cooler than yours. We are Jordan." According to Zeller in the rookie diary, he's seen MJ 3-4 times since being drafted. He was at our training camp all week. It's funny when he's around the players, acts like one of us. He talks about the game and whatever. It was fun at camp because he was staying at our hotel with us. It was crazy to watch all the stuff you have to do because you're Michael Jordan. He can't go to a restaurant and eat. He has to have someone go pick it up and bring it back to the hotel. He was locked in his room a lot of the time and couldn't go to dinner with the rest of us. DJ Augustine confirms what really happened when MJ suited up and went at it with prime Steven Jackson.
Drafted to the Bobcats in 2008, and your GM was none other than Michael Jordan, man.
MJ used to practice with us from time to time, and he was on my team, and we were playing against Jack's team. And him and Jack started going at it. Jack started talking to him. He started telling Jack how great of a player he is, and he was. It ended like that, him showing Jack how great of a player he was, man. And on top of that, I didn't get to touch the ball that whole game. So that's just a funny story. Just playing with him and being around him, man. It was fun.
Sean Livingston and Steven Jackson talks about the practice.
I remember a time
MJ came in and he practiced with us.
Yep.
You remember that?
I told that story.
And
served us.
Yeah, man. And I was on his team actually, and it was just like, wow, because I was on the bench team, and they was the starters.
Me and him was going at
it. And they going back and forth, and Mike cussing him out, Jack cussing Mike out. And I'm like, he cussing MJ? Damn, like, it's just it was new to me again, but.
What they did for our team, though?
Again, just the confidence, right? It's like we not backing down from anybody. We belong, and to me, I think as a player, that's the journey that I talked about when you first get in the NBA. It's like you got to establish yourself.
DJ White, a year and a half in Charlotte, shares his MJ story.
You do good, okay? You don't really say that. You might be doing bad. If you come out of this thing, you see that little glare.
Right.
So it was. And he's come into the locker room a couple times and got on us. Really cussed us out. So,
really?
Yeah, he got us a couple times. MJ one time, he was so mad after the game, the coach talked to us. And everybody spread out. He went in the training room. He cussed the players out who was in the training room. Came to the locker room and got the players in the locker room and the shower. So MJ didn't play, man. If you didn't give effort, he didn't like it. But other than that, he was a good owner. He's a player. He played, so he understood.
Jordan and the Hornets signed Lance Stevenson after a great run with the Pacers, but things didn't work out. Lance said MJ telling him to keep a positive head after one of the roughest seasons. It didn't go the way it planned, a good learning experience, and it really humbled Lance, having high expectations, thinking he was that guy. Never stop grinding. Don't take this stuff for granted because playing ball is a blessing and you're getting paid for it. Stevenson 61 games with the team, an absolute travesty. Journeyman Christian Wood played 13 games for Charlotte, averaged 2.7 points after getting scored on. Jordan looks over at the bench, says, "Get your skinny ass to the weight room. Don't let that MFer score on you. You're way more talented than that. Come on." Wood even summons to Jordan's office, looking over his G League film, tells him what he needs to work on. That moment meant a lot because it was Jordan watching his G League games. Miles Bridges before the off-court troubles and what MJ was like as a boss.
Able to lean on Mike for advice, for just for different questions that you may have, or is he not that connected with the team?
Oh no, he's connected. I got MJ's number. I text him whenever we hit a rough patch and see what he would do in a situation, or I text him about a game and he texts right back. Like as soon as I text him, I'll give him 5 minutes. He texts right back. It's crazy. But yeah, before All-Star break came in and ripped our ass, we got beat at home by Orlando. So he's very in tune with us, and it's just nice having the GOAT. Just being there for you at all times, being connected, and just being able to rely on him and have resources like that. So
Raymond Felton praises his former boss.
He was talking trash to everybody. It was funny, man. It was fun. But it was fun though. It was good trash talking. You know what I'm saying? And he said what he wanted to say. We said what we wanted to say, and it was just getting after it. And I think he still ended up beating us that day, to be honest. But I will say I got me a bucket on MJ though. I did get me a bucket on MJ, but he got plenty of them on me though, and I think he ended up beating us. That I'm gonna just take my one little bucket and go with it. For me as a kid, and then growing up, MJ is my GOAT. MJ is my GOAT, and then the time and the era that MJ played. If MJ was playing right now, MJ would probably average 60.
So nobody's challenged Jordan. Nobody's said anything where Jordan then goes, "All right, let me put you in your place." That hasn't happened recently.
No, it really hasn't. I don't think I would take that chance.
Really? Even you right now against Jordan in a shooting contest?
I take that chance. I think I can shoot the ball really well and all of that, but you don't want to, I don't know. It's just he has a weird looming presence that kind of makes you a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, that you don't want to challenge the greatest basketball player of all time. I feel like his competitive nature would almost make it a little bit too unfun.
That's the best player to ever play basketball. In my opinion. So for him to be, technically like my owner and my boss, but he talks to me like a player, man, and like a peer instead of a boss or an owner. So that's one thing I respect about that, especially from his stature and who he is as a person. You know what I'm saying?
What's it like having MJ as an owner for you? Oh yeah, amazing, for real. Having him as an owner, there's not a lot of them out there. How many black owners we got, for real? Is his expertise to you, is it more verbally? You guys ever get on the court, or is it just he'll drop you some nuggets. Yeah, just some nuggets and stuff right now.
I'm actually really excited. I had great combos with them. When I met them, everything was genuine, a great vibe. So I just loved it all, for real. And then even when I met Michael Jordan on the phone, it was all love. It's like he's my uncle or something, for real. I feel like he's part of the family already. You know, you just talk to somebody, you get that connection. It was one of those.
Jordan, in an exclusive interview June 2015 in Paris, France, on his team.
I go watch him, but I don't get down and play with him. I used to. I'm too old for that now, but I watch, from upstairs or give my advice whenever they ask for it.
The 52-year-old on whether he could beat his players one-on-one.
Could you win on one-on-ones against them? I'm pretty sure I can, so I don't want to do that and demolish their confidence, so I stay away from them. I let them think they're good. They think that they are good, but I'm too old to do that anyway.
Thanks so much for watching. What's your most memorable Michael Jordan moment as Charlotte's owner? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.